Hey guys, let's talk about the artificial sweetener called erythritol. So this is something that you will see in a lot of different foods, like foods labeled keto or low sugar or low calorie. This study suggests that it might actually increase your risk of having a stroke or a heart attack or dying. So what they did is they identified a cohort of about 1,100 people undergoing testing for heart disease, and they took some blood and measured all sorts of different substances and then followed them out for 3 years to see who had events like heart attack, strokes, or death. And what they found was that one of the substances that was most strongly associated with one of those events was actually erythritol. This has never been described before, so they were surprised by this. And to confirm it, they again looked for erythritol levels in 2 other cohorts, one in the US, one in Europe, and showed the same thing. The higher the levels, the higher the risk of one of these terrible events happening. Then they took it one step further, and in a lab model, they showed that erythritol actually activates platelets and causes them to create clots. And that's relevant because, of course, heart attacks and strokes are caused by clots. So they actually created a plausible mechanism by which this substance might actually lead to these events. The last thing they did is they gave someone an erythritol-sweetened beverage and measured their erythritol levels for several days afterwards and found that for the first 2 days after consuming it, the blood levels of erythritol were actually higher than the levels that they had identified in the lab would be associated with increased clotting. So anytime you have an observational study like this, we can't actually be sure that it's the erythritol causing these events. We need larger studies, more studies like this. We need randomized control studies to actually know if this is the cause. But I would say that based on what we have here, if you have a higher cardiovascular risk profile, it would be very reasonable to make an effort to do your best to avoid erythritol, at least until we know more.